All right, everybody, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. You've downloaded the Unleashed version of the Steve Austin Show. We're going to let it all fly here in just a minute, but first, things first. Now, y'all know from my previous conversations, I am not a technical genius. So that means when I tell you that Weebly.com is a great, easy way to build your own website, then you know it's easy. It's so easy that even I can use Weebly.com, and if I can use it, you can too. Millions of people have created high-quality websites, blogs, and online stores all by themselves using Weebly.com. Now, Weebly has hundreds of design templates to choose from. You can pick one of those, or you can use their tools to create your own unique design. Weebly also has a drag-and-drop site builder that lets you build and design your site right from your web browser, and then you can drag and drop all your content elements into place. You know, like pictures, videos, and text. I know you know how to drag and drop, people. Hell, I know how to drag and drop. And Weebly makes sure that your website works perfectly on web and mobile. So whether you're building a website for your business, creating a portfolio to showcase your work, or trying to sell your products online, Weebly is ready to help. We all know that making an idea come to life is hard, but making a website for it should be easy. Create your free website today at Weebly.com. That's Weebly.com. Weebly.com.
Do you suffer from Sunday sadness because the weekend is almost over? Well, fear it no more, because Sunday is Fun Day on Fox.
Yeah! Let's converge our glasses in merriment.
It's the season premieres of The Simpsons.
Woohoo!
And Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, suck it.
The same old shift on a whole new night.
We're going undercover. You look amazing, but you smell really bad. That's my cologne. Welcome to the Mafia.
And it's all leading to the one-hour Family Guy Simpsons Smash-tacular. Sunday on Fox.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from Hartwell, Georgia, where I'm sitting in an SUV in the driveway of the house I'm renting out here on Lake Hartwell. And I got a hell of a day for you today. Today, I'm basically going through the paces, trying to run some errands and get some things done that I need done. And the first task at hand was getting my wife to the Atlanta airport this morning because she flew back to Los Angeles, California to get back here and take care of the dogs. I told her, next time, if they film Redneck Island anywhere, we're all going to fly or drive here together and stay for the entire month so we don't separate our family. Because we had a great young man dog-sitting our dogs and watching our house, and we got all our security cameras to keep check of them. It just ain't the same. And so it's like I said in that last show, it's when you first get back together with your wife after being gone for 2 weeks or whatever the period is, it takes that readjustment phase. And then we're all in sync, and then she's got to go back to the airport. So anyway, there was supposed to be a car service coming over here at 7:30 a.m. to pick my wife up. Now, the location I'm in is on Lake Hartwell, but it's kind of hard to get to if you've never been back in this part of the woods before. So sure enough, her driver's supposed to be here at 7:30 sharp. So I get up at 6:30, and my plan was this. Go get my wife a cup of coffee, which I did. Help her pack her things. She had already pre-packed and was pretty much ready to go. And at 7:15, we're already waiting for that person to show up. Well, at 7:15, I figured I better walk all the way down to the end of the street to make sure that the car service can find this location, which I've done several times because it's a little tricky to get to. Well, I ended up calling the car service because I had information on my email on my iPhone at the end of the driveway. The driver says he's gone to the wrong location. He's 30 miles away. 30 miles away when you're lost. If you're driving 60, that's going to be 30 minutes. But if you're lost, it could be 45 minutes to an hour. I'm very time specific in regards to being somewhere, and so is my wife. specifically when we're trying to catch an airplane flight to get back to wherever we need to go. So anyway, I called in my boy Chris, who's been helping me in. I think he was actually on the other line of the phone, and he said, to hell with it, Steve. I'll just come down from Livonia and pick up your wife and take her to the airport. So anyway, sure enough, here comes Chris to the Savior, drove down from Livonia over here to Hartwell, picked up my wife, and took her to the airport, and she made her flight on time, and she's headed back to Los Angeles. Well, here's the deal. I got up at 6:30. I got to bed about 1:30 in the morning. I'm tired as hell because I've worked about 2.5 weeks straight without a day off. So what do? Do you get up and start drinking coffee and going about your business when you need a little bit more rest? Well, maybe some people would, but not me, because I wanted the rest. So what to do? What's going to happen here? Well, I'd already had my game plan set up from the get-go. I knew that I was going to grab about 2 Sweetwater IPAs out of my refrigerator, put them in the freezer, drink them, and go back to sleep. Now, Sweetwater IPA tastes damn good in the evening, but it also tastes damn good at 7:30 in the morning. Now, I am not recommending to anybody to do what I've done, to just wake up and start drinking beer so you can go back to sleep. But in the name of getting my rest and trying to get some shut-eye and being able to function a full day without being foggy, I needed to go back to sleep. Anyway, I drank 2 Sweetwater IPAs, laid my little head down, and slept all the way till 12 noon. And that's like a miracle for me, folks, because I don't sleep worth a flying shit. Normally, between waking up and tossing and turning and all the bullshit that I do, sometimes I get 4 hours of sleep. On a good night, I might get 5.5, and I'm luckier than a motherfucker, 6 hours of sleep. So got up at 12 noon, went to my Keurig coffee maker, made 2 big-ass cups of coffee, took an Alpha Brain to help me clear all the cobwebs out, and then started going through my process, going through some emails on the show, getting prepped for the show, seeing what I was going to do for the show. And I figured, you know what, I might as well call this motherfucker in the ring and take you guys out on a day's run with me while I go through the paces. While I was eating my breakfast, which is 12 egg whites, an ounce of cheese, oh, you know what? I left my oatmeal in the freezer. I always put my oatmeal in the freezer to cool it off before I eat it. And now that I'm driving away from the house, I just realized I didn't eat my oatmeal. But I ain't got time to turn around and go eat it, so I'll just get an extra carb meal later on down the road. So anyway, while I was eating my eggs and my 1 ounce of cheese, my wife sends me a text message. She's on the plane. She made it to the airport. But, oh, by the way, she has my billfold. Well, today involves a day of running errands. I'm going to need my credit cards and all my stuff to be able to pay for some of the errands I'm about to run. So I said, well, at least take a picture of my American Express Platinum card, give me the numbers and all the codes on it so that they can run that manually and I can pay for some T-shirts I'm fixing to go pick up over at the Dove Printing Company in Hartwell, Georgia. It's old Ronnie Dove down there been printing me up some T-shirts so I can wear them on the show, because the show happened so fast I didn't get a chance to make up any badass cool T-shirts. So anyway, it turns out that I met this dude that runs his T-shirt shop, so I'm going to go pick up my shirts that he had made today, and I want to settle up with him. So now that I have a picture of both sides of my credit card, I can do that. Now, what I just did was have to do a U-turn and go back to my crib, because the oatmeal's in the freezer, and I said I wasn't going to eat that, and it's probably frozen by now because it went past the cooling stage. But what I forgot was cold, hard cash, and I got my per diem money in my backpack. So although I don't have any credit cards or identification, I do need some dollars. So here I am turning back in my driveway, and I'm going to go in here and get me a couple of ducats in case I want to stop and get something to eat and pay cash. And one other thing I was going to do today, I bought a hotspot when I first came out here to Hartwell, Georgia, because I didn't have any internet service until Joey came out and hooked up that badass 5 meg service for me. And I bought a hotspot. And when you buy a hotspot, I'm just parking, turn this bitch off, and going back inside the house, give me some cash. I'll take you guys with me. You know, when you buy a hotspot, you've got to, got all my cords. I brought an extra microphone with me in case somebody wants to talk on the podcast with me today while I do my errands. So here I go back in the house, and I threw my key in a secret location so I ain't got to drag it all around with me and take a chance on losing that because I'm so fucking dumb. So anyway, when you buy a hotspot, you got to set it up. And first of all, you plug the hotspot in, and it's got a charge to give out a signal so that you can finally hook onto the signal and, you know, get wireless internet. Well, I went through all those paces, and I got my little scratch card with my 5 megs of memory. And to do this, to activate it, I had to scratch all the numbers off like a lucky lottery winner, which I've never won a damn lotto, gimmick lottery, whatever you call them, in my life. I think they're rigged. So anyway, after scratching off the little card for the 5 meg service, I had to call a dude. And the dude I was calling was all the way, I think he was in India. And he walked me through the whole process. I got an envelope of money. Hang on. Yep, that's some money in there. It's my per diem envelope. Hang on, let me put this microphone down. I don't need that much money. So anyway, for some reason this old boy's in England, and he's trying to walk me through the stages of setting up his hotspot. And y'all know I just read my Weebly.com read for you guys. I'm not exactly the dumbest sumbitch walking the face of the earth, but I'm not the smartest either, especially when it comes time to electronics and punching in codes and all this other bullshit. So I tried talking with that old boy for a long time, and he tried to get me on the straight and narrow. And he was very professional, and he was very nice, but it was a failure to communicate at some level because I couldn't get the hotspot working. So that hotspot set me back $130. So today I was going to go return that hotspot and get back my $130 because I know the value of $1, and I certainly know the value of $130. And if I can't use the motherfucker, I might as well return it, right? So since I don't have my physical credit card to turn that thing in, I don't know if a picture of my credit card on my iPhone is enough to actually accomplish the task at hand. So let me get back in my car here. You know what? I'm so fucking stupid. When I went back into the house, I could have ate that oatmeal, or at least got me a bagel for some carbs. But I ain't got time for that. So anyway, once I get my credit card back from my wife, she's going to FedEx it when she gets home. I'm going to return the hotspot and get my 130 clams back. And now I'm backed out of the driveway. Well, I'm backing out of the driveway. It's the hardest damn driveway to get out of I've ever been in. I did a better job that time. So we're back on the road. My mission today, as I stated earlier, run down to Dove Printing Company, pick up some t-shirts for the show. Had a couple skulls printed up, had a couple other designs printed up, so I ain't got to wear a blank t-shirt. If there's one thing I can't stand, is when a show like Redneck Island, which I love doing this show, but like I said, this thing came at short notice, because I was heading down to pick up my RV to drive down to Texas when my agents called me and said, hey man, we're doing Redneck Island. So I turned my ass around and came back and started buying camouflage shorts and bullshit. But, you know, I just been wearing plain ass t-shirts because I didn't have time to get anything cool printed up. It just turns out that when we was on a photo shoot, one of my first days out here in Hartwell, I met a real estate agent. And her name was Michelle Dove. She sells real estate out here. And then I was searching. She's a very nice lady. And we were sitting there talking, a couple of guys that run the marina down there where we're doing the photo shoot. And I was on the internet that night. And all of a sudden I was trying to look for T-shirt places around this area to see if I could get some shirts printed up. And I found Dove Printing Services. Well, I put 2 and 2 together. If her last name was Dove, and this is Dove Printing Service, there has to be some correlation. So I think it was about 12:42 a.m. I sent her an email. And I said, Michelle, I said, is there any way you're connected to Dove Printing Company? And she replied back the next morning, yes, that's my husband's company. And I said, hallelujah, there is a God. So I went over there and talked to her husband, old Ronnie. Ronnie's a cool dude. He's been in the T-shirt business for about 25 years. So if he ain't got it figured out by now, he ain't going to figure it out. But it turns out he has figured it out, and he does damn good work. So today's first errand is to head over there and pick up some T-shirts that I can wear for the remainder of the show, rather than wearing these blank-ass, boring, nothing-on-them T-shirts on Redneck Island. Before I continue, I got to talk about a little bit of business first. I've got to give you guys an important phone number to share with you, because calling this toll-free number could save you some serious cash when it comes to your TV watching. 844-269-DISH. 844-269-DISH. If you sign up for DISH right now, you can get programming for the whole family starting at $19.99 a month for 12 months. $19.99 a month for 12 months. So why would you pay more, folks? You wouldn't. That's why you need to call 844-269-DISH. And if you call DISH right now, you can get free installation in up to 6 rooms. Ain't no more fighting over the remote for the TV. Free installations in up to 6 rooms means everyone in your house can be a happy TV watcher at the same time. So call toll-free 844-269-DISH. That's 844-269-DISH. Do it now, because it's a limited time offer. 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee and other restrictions apply. Call for details. So to get DISH for just $19.99 a month for 12 months, call 844-269-DISH. And while you're talking to the fine people at DISH, ask them about other great deals on upgrades to the Hopper and how you can watch your TV anytime, anywhere. This is a win-win-win-win-win. Call 844-269-DISH. Now, folks, I read that commercial sitting at a stop sign out here on the road that you turn on to go to my house. I was looking in my rearview mirror. I got my seatbelt on. I wasn't in anybody's way, and there's not anybody out in town right now. So that's my first segment. We're going to take a little bit of a break and come right back with more from the Steve Austin Show, live from Hartwell, Georgia.
Have you heard Who's Next with Goldberg?
Yes!
Every Tuesday, wrestling legend Bill Goldberg hangs out with his well-known friends.
Your good friend and mine, Dale Jr. How you doing, partner?
I'm doing great.
Terry Crews. Jeremy Roenick.
Mr. Clint Black.
Bill.
Chris Daughtry.
Yes, I need fireworks blowing up right now as I walk out.
So find out Who's Next with Goldberg.
Putting some content together that you ain't never heard before.
Every Tuesday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com. Steve Austin Unleashed.
All right, everybody, let's start recording something, whether it's right, wrong, good, bad, indifferent, or totally fucked up. You guys heard the story. I just went over there to Dove Screen Printing Service and talked to old Ronnie. Got my T-shirts picked up and dropped off some more designs and some more T-shirts for him to work on. Well, there's a potential problem right there, because I figured as much as I cuss, and this is the Unleashed show, that they would not want to be associated with the show. And I said, well, it's the Unleashed show, but I didn't cuss while I was talking about y'all. I can't guarantee that I won't be cussing once I get further into the body of the show. If you want me to, I can totally redo the opening and cover you on the Family Friendly show. I just want to give you guys a shout out. And she sends me back a text message, and it says, LOL! Exclamation point. Both shows are awesome, but we like the Unleashed show. 2 exclamation points. So I texted her, so you're okay with being on Unleashed? She says, yes, sir. I texted back 10-4, got you covered. So, Ronnie and Michelle Dove got you covered over here. If you guys are out here in the Hartwell area or in the vicinity of 100 miles, head over to Dove Screen Printing Service, where Ronnie can design a badass shirt and hook a brother up at a damn good price. And if you're looking for a piece of real estate, look no further than Michelle Dove, his illustrious wife, who is in the real estate business as a realtor. So anyway, thanks to both of the Doves and their 2 sons for making me some badass shirts and being such friendly people and participating on the Steve Austin Show Unleashed. Hey, I also rolled back to the house here where I'm staying at, and I got a text message. I didn't recognize the text message that came to my phone. Turns out it was the owner of the house. She was coming by. The other day it was trash day, and I sent her a text message, hey, what do I do with all the trash? I can't find any trash cans to carry out to the street. And because this is their weekend house, she texts me back, well, I just usually take care of that myself because it's our weekend house. We got no trash cans. So anyway, got a text message saying I'm coming by to pick up the trash. So I said, cool. All of a sudden the doorbell rings, and there she is, coming to pick up the trash to haul it off. And we loaded up the trash out there, and I showed her a picture of the dock where my illustrious wife, Kristen, fell in the other day, got the shit scared out of us. Hey, we was laughing about that story the other day, but when I was talking to Ronnie Dove the other day, he said, Steve, he said, y'all are lucky. He said 4 people have died like that out here by stepping off a dock, hitting their head, or drowning, or getting knocked out and going under the water and then drowning, whatever the case may be. He said, y'all got really lucky. And I was like, I knew it could have been a much worse accident than it ended up being, scraping up her shin and hitting the back of her head. And y'all saw how small that goddamn hole was. So anyway, in talking to Shelby, I told her the story, and she was completely horrified. And she was telling me, since I'd already given her an accident, that she had had an accident this morning as well. Turns out they live in the country a couple miles away, and a squirrel threw a nut and hit her in the back of the head. And that's a true story. A squirrel threw a nut and hit the homeowner that I'm leasing the house from in the back of the head with a nut, and the sumbitch had a damn arm like Nolan Ryan because she had a lump on the back of her head. So I said, well, what did you do to provoke the squirrel to throw a nut at you in the first place? And she said, well, they've been tearing up all our stuff, so I've been out there shooting at them with a BB gun. And this is a lady, I mean, she's in wonderful condition. I guess she's 60, 65, and I just didn't picture this well-spoken older lady, 60, 65, out there shooting a BB gun at squirrels. And she told her husband, she said, we're either going to get a dog or a cat to take care of these squirrels. And her husband said, hang on, I'll get my shotgun out. So they live out in the country, so now they're fixing to do battle with them squirrels out there, from throwing nuts and hitting her in the back of the head, and then they're climbing up on top of the house, peeling back the tin off their house, making holes, getting up in their attic, and making all kind of racket. And then I told her, I said, hey, I got a place down in South Texas. I said, we got these motherfucking woodpeckers. And I didn't say this. I gave her the clean version of the story. Y'all have heard me tell this story. I said, we got some goddamn woodpeckers out there at the ranch, and them motherfuckers, as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, those motherfuckers out there pecking on the side of my house. And I told her, I said, now I'm a damn good shot with a rifle. I am. I could damn near be a sniper. But with the shotgun, I ain't worth a flying fuck. So I creep out there. Remember, I'm giving her the G-rated version. So I creep out there, stealthy as a motherfucker. Done sprayed WD-40 on my knees so they don't creak while I'm walking. I could have been a goddamn Indian. Daniel Day-Lewis in Last of the Mohicans. Turn around, make the woodpecker fly off towards the woods. Bam! 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 Missed that motherfucker 3 times. I don't know how many times. I probably wasted a box of shells trying to kill that fucking woodpecker. My buddy Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter, finally was the one I think put a bullet in that motherfucker's ass. And we done had to take care of a couple of them. I don't know if it's legal or not to shoot a woodpecker, but when they beating the shit out of my house, and you can see the video evidence and the picture evidence, I got about 30 holes on the north end of my house, and Teddy, since he's a carpenter, just patches them up with those T111 squares. So I could sympathize with the fact that the squirrel was torturing her, hit her in the back of the head with a nut. When these motherfucking woodpeckers are killing the shit out of me at the Broken Skull Ranch by tearing up and destructing my valuable property out there. So anyway, today what I figured I'd do for the most part, while I was riding around the streets of Hartwell, I almost pulled into Bojangles. I was so damn hungry because I forgot to eat my oatmeal, and I put a picture of my frozen bowl of oatmeal on my Twitter account. So as I took that picture of that hole my wife fell in, this is a bowl of the frozen oatmeal that I put in to cool so that I could eat fast so I could get on my way and run my errands and do this podcast. And like I said, I left it in, forgot to eat it. That's a frozen bowl of oatmeal that, no, I'm not going to eat. But now I owe myself 60 more carbohydrates. On with the story. I figured I get a lot of emails to questions@steveaustinshow.com. And people asking me what my favorite movies were to be in and some of the shenanigans which happened on my movies. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of stories just off the cuff. And then we're going to go into the emails. I've been getting a lot of interesting emails to questions@steveaustonshow.com, so I'm going to answer some of those. And I got a lot of emails from people in Scotland saying, fuck, Steve, the Loch Ness Monster's from Scotland. And this one motherfucker wants me to apologize. Hey, dude, if you didn't listen to the last Tuesday show, and maybe you don't know that there's a Tuesday show, you just listened to the Unleashed show, I done apologize for fucking up the fact that the Loch Ness Monster is from Scotland, not England. I didn't know how heated this debate between England and Scotland had become. I'm all the way over here in BFE, God's country, Hartwell, Georgia, filming Redneck Island, internet slow as a motherfucker. I don't barely even know what's going on with college football or pro football, much less the struggle or the independence factor that Scotland or England are going through. And with no disrespect, it just means that I'm uninformed. So I have indeed issued an apology to Scotland for not giving them due credit where credit was due. That the fact that Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, is from fucking Scotland. But I was talking to Ned, this motherfucking Loch Ness Monster that's out here in Lake Hartwell. I'm going to take my microphone down there on my next Unleashed show before I get up out of Hartwell. I'm going to go talk to that son of a bitch because there is one here. His name is Ned. I saw him in person, and that's the bottom line, and that's all I got to say about that. God damn, I just finished a cup of coffee. I didn't mean to get all hot about it. Fuck. Hey, people always ask me about doing movies, if I'm planning on doing it anymore. Yeah, I'll probably do another movie here. If I find the right script, something comes along. You know, I enjoy reality television so much. This is kind of what I like to specialize on and pay more attention to my podcast. I love being able to talk to you guys and shoot the shit and talk with people from all walks of life. Matter of fact, guess what? I got a name I can drop right now. I talked to the one and only Nature Boy Ric Flair the other day. I was looking for some contact information on Ole Anderson. I heard Ole Anderson was in about a 50-mile radius of where I'm at, and I really wanted to talk to him and just, because Ole Anderson was one of my favorite guys to ever watch in the ring when he was tagging up with Gene at first, and then it was tagging up with Arn and part of the Four Horsemen. He was just a ruthless, kick-ass, badass bully of a professional wrestler, great promos. And I guess he's a little bit not doing so well right now, so I didn't know if it's the best thing to talk to him. And Ric Flair had lost his number anyway. And so if anybody within earshot of this podcast hears that I'm looking for Ole Anderson for the next 2 weeks, and if he's able to visit with me, I sure would like to talk to him. I had a lot of respect for that guy, and I hope he's doing well. But I kind of have heard otherwise. I talked to the damn Nature Boy for about 15, 20 minutes. He was telling me about his, he had an appendicitis or a burst appendix, something like that. I'm not a doctor. And then he had a hernia as well, and then he had some other things going on. And goddamn, Rick said he's never been sick a day in his life. And I found that hard to believe. But when you think about the career of Ric Flair, people always like to talk about the tough guys of professional wrestling. And when you're talking about the tough guys of professional wrestling, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and you guys keep sending me emails asking me about it. Who was the baddest motherfucker in the business? It was Ming. His name was Haku, or whatever his real deal name was. He had several different gimmicks. And basically nobody who was in the know will dispute that fact. Now, there were so many tough guys in the business. Road Warrior Hawk, Dr. Death Steve Williams, Dickie Slater, Harley Race. And, of course, now that I'm trying to name all the tough guys, I can't think of all the tough guys that have been in the business. But there's been some salty, bad motherfuckers in the history of the business. Butch Reed was supposed to be real tough. Paul Orndorff was tough. But when people are asking me who I think were the toughest guys that were in the business, I will name everybody that I just named, and I'll always have a couple of more that I'll remember. But now that I'm trying to remember them, they escape my mind because I've been hit with so many fucking steel chairs. And yes, them steel chairs hurt like a motherfucker when you get hit with one. The one name that I always include in all the tough guys in the business is Nature Boy Ric Flair. And it's not because he was a fighter. Ric Flair was anything but a fighter. He was a lover. He was a partier. He was a big personality. He was an ego. He was my favorite professional wrestler of all time. The reason I keep Ric Flair in my toughest guys in the business category is because I don't know how many times he got launched off the third turnbuckle, how many times he flipped upside down in that turnbuckle, ran across to the other turnbuckle and got slammed off the top of that, how many backdrops he took, all the shit that he did. And he always kind of, when Rick took a good backdrop or took that launch off that third turnbuckle, always seemed like he landed on kind of one of the sides of his hip. And I remember it was over a year ago when I interviewed him and they put him in that clinic for the rehab thing, whatever. I asked him, I said, God damn, Rick, I said, how are you feeling? All the miles you got on you, all the bumps you've taken, all the travel you've been through, you got in a damn plane crash, you broke your back. And I said, how are you feeling? Because I figured if Ric Flair's career lasted 30 or 40 years, mine lasted 15. Half the time I feel like shit, half the time I feel mediocre, and the other time I feel pretty fucking good. So I figured Ric Flair would feel like hammered dog shit. Ric Flair said he ain't never been sick a day in his life. And back in the day, when it come time to party, Ric Flair was one of the lead guys at any party, whether he had his clothes on or he took them off. It was the Ric Flair show, and he never missed shots for injuries or sicknesses or nothing. And he came back from that broken back. So anyway, it was good to hear from the Nature Boy. And from what I hear, he was laughing, and we were discussing the Night of Champions match the other day, and we started talking again about the John Cena, Brock Lesnar match. And we were right on the same page. I thought they needed a little bit more movement in there. Hit the ropes a few times, and you got to jump on that gas pedal every here and there. And Cena needed a little bit more offense, and he was on the same page with that, and we kind of broke down the card. I was going to go into Atlanta this morning and try to talk with Ric Flair because he's living in the Atlanta area right now. But I had a day off. My wife was heading that way anyway, and Chris ended up taking her, so I didn't want to go bombard Ric Flair at about 9 or 10:30 in the morning and then have Chris wait around while I was trying to talk to him. So before I leave the Hartwell, Georgia area, I'm going to try. And like I said, I've been calling a few guys, can't get a hold of a lot of people in the area up here to talk to some of the talent that is based in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I got an email the other day from Diamond Dallas Page. He's going to try to make it to set to check out the location and shoot the breeze. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, if you come out, I'll just have my Zoom H4n and we can do a podcast while we just sit around and shoot the shit, because that's easy to kill an hour and visit, hang out, and entertain some folks who listen to the show. So anyway, a rambling story about the Dove family and then me battling woodpeckers down there in South Texas. The person I'm renting this house from being thrown at by peanuts or whatever she got hit in the back of the head with, and then busting out the shotguns to try to do battle with them, dogs, cats, shotguns, whatever the hell it takes to get them off their property. We got a rambling show here. I'm rambling about everything under the sun. But I guess I picked a bad day to quit amphetamines and a great day to triple up on coffee and Diet Red Bull. Swig of coffee for the working man. All right, so we all know what a complete pain in the ass it is to have to buy razors. Who has the time to haul their ass to the store, fighting traffic the whole way? And then when you find the damn razors, once you get there, they're always locked up in that steel cage, and then you got to find the one single employee who has the key. You know how much time you waste looking for that guy alone? Don't get me started on how much cash you drop at the register paying for them razors once you find them. Well, guess what? You ain't never got to do that again. All you got to do is join the DollarShaveClub.com, and for a few bucks a month, Dollar Shave Club will deliver the world's best razors right to your front door. Dollar Shave Club is so much smarter than going to the store, and they have plans that start at just $3 a month. You sign up once. It's going to take you about 2 minutes, and then you sit your ass back and wait for your blades to arrive, and they will. Tick-tock, tick-tock, like clockwork. Dollar Shave Club is so easy on the wallet, you can shave with a fresh blade every single week if you want to. Ain't no membership fee, ain't no long-term commitment, and Dollar Shave Club has a money-back guarantee. So, really, you have nothing to lose by giving them a try. Give your wallet a break. Do what hundreds of thousands of guys have already done. Join DollarShaveClub.com/Steve. That is DollarShaveClub.com/Steve.
Steve Austin Unleashed.
Now watch this smooth segue transition to start talking about some of the bullshit movies that I've been in. The first one was The Longest Yard, and The Longest Yard was with Adam Sandler. When Sandler did that movie, he casted a bunch of football players in the football playing roles, as well as some professional wrestlers who looked like they could play football. A few of which were Goldberg, myself, and Kevin Nash, and also the great Khali, who was just Dalip Singh at the time, a big, tall Indian dude. So anyway, you know, Bill Romanowski, legendary linebacker, tough guy, was running around out there, and I tell you what, I was playing running back, and with Bill Romanowski running around out there, Jesus H. Christ on a popsicle stick. I was hoping this crazy motherfucker wasn't going to have a flashback to his NFL days and knock my dick in the dirt. Son of a bitch. I'm a worker. I'm used to pro wrestling. At the time we filmed The Longest Yard, I think I was weighing 275. But it wasn't a fat out of shape 275. I was pretty jacked up. And me and Kevin Nash were hooking up every single night. I think I was on a vodka kick at that particular time, and I was drinking a shitload of vodka, or if I was drinking with Kevin, we would drink a shitload of red wine. And most times after we got through filming, it was hotter than a motherfucker out there in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and then we went over there to that damn community college in Los Angeles, right down the road from my house, and we got burnt to a crisp out there. And every single night, me and Kevin got drunk as a skunk. And we were the last two people standing every single night. And that's nothing to be proud of, but that's just what we were doing to maintain some sanity. And because we were two old pro wrestlers out on a movie set having a good time. Now, it was funny because when I read for the part of the guy that I played, whatever my name was, in The Longest Yard, I got the part immediately because Adam Sandler just wanted a guy that could play the particular part that I got. And I just figured I'd be kind of like, I didn't have any notion what position I would be playing on a football team. Turns out I was a running back. Now, I was a running back at Edna High School when I was an Edna Cowboy, all-district performer, pretty bad motherfucker, run north and south because I wasn't fast enough to run east and west. Ran about a 4.9 40, but I ran over motherfuckers. And when I was a junior and a senior in high school, I weighed 205 pounds. Well, my illustrious offensive line averaged 160 pounds. So most of my yards were made after contact, running through motherfuckers, over them, and dragging them to the goal line because at 160 pounds, my lineman wasn't blocking too many cats. Now, I don't think any of those guys listen to the podcast, but I mean no disrespect. There were a couple of guys who could throw down some pretty good blocks. But anyway, back to The Longest Yard. We're talking about some of the movies that I've been in. So I'm doing real deal running back drills, man. I'm in at full speed, and I haven't run full speed in I don't know how long. This movie was probably filmed in, 2004, 2005. All I'd been used to doing was being in a 20 by 20 squared circle where you can start running full speed, but a guy's putting you into motion by yanking you by your arm, or if you've got a headlock on him, sending you into the ropes with momentum, and then you just bounce off them fucking ropes, and it's easy to run full speed then, but just out in the great wide open of a 100-yard football field, which is 53 yards wide, and then you got people chasing you, and you're actually running full speed. I pulled a motherfucking hamstring. I didn't think that I could pull a hamstring because I couldn't run fast enough. I don't think that pulling a hamstring requires you to run a certain speed. I just think that when you're running full speed in the carcass that you're trapped in, the speed generated by your momentum is enough to pull your hamstring, especially if you weighed 275 pounds and was a brick shithouse like I was. So then I had to have my stunt double in there, go in there and do all the stuff I did. And I'm thinking I was going to have a stunt double anyway because I'm an actor with the main part. But we were supposed to do basically everything that we were supposed to do. Now, in The Longest Yard, my character takes a clothesline from Big Bad Bob Sapp. And that's the part where I shit myself. And I'm laying there after I'm selling my neck, and the guy looks down at me, and in the original movie, he goes, "Oh, I broke his neck. I broke his fucking neck." And in this movie, the guy's looking at me, and he says, "I think he shit himself. I made him shit his pants." And so I'm laying there with a loaf of shit in my pants. Now, not really, but you've got to understand the depth that I took this character. I was a badass guard, and not a very nice guard, so I took a Daniel Day-Lewis approach. I didn't really have a loaf of shit in my ass while I was laying there, but that's what I was thinking. All right, that's bullshit. I didn't really shit my pants. I'm not a method actor. I'm not a very good actor at all. But I just remember the calamity of that show. And I was ready to go out of that movie. Once I checked out of that movie and got done with it, I was about ready to go into rehab because that goddamn Kevin Nash can drink like a sumbitch. Now, I know he's getting ready for Magic Mike right now. He's probably down to about 285 pounds and probably getting pretty shredded. But back in the day, my old travel partner and me could put down a lot of goddamn liquor. Hey, before I go on to the next movie, no, fuck it, I'm going on to the next movie. The next movie that I did was a movie called The Condemned. And this was a project that I found in Los Angeles. Actually, it found me. Now, if you would have read the original draft of The Condemned, it would have been the biggest piece of shit script that you'd ever read in your life. The director, Scott Weiper, who did a damn good job on the directing. Some of the fight scenes were a little bit of shaky camera. I remember that. But Scott Weiper did about 7 or 8 passes over this script and turned it into the quality award-winning movie that it turned out to be. And I'm still crushed, flabbergasted, bamboozled, and hoodwinked that I did not win an Oscar, an Academy Award, a Grammy, a Pulitzer Prize, a Nobel Peace Prize, any kind of prize, even a fucking Razzie for the part that I played as Jack Conrad in this movie. And one of the scenes, it's one of the first scenes on the island. They got us out of these hardcore prisons, right? 10 of us. They're going to put us on an island where we will fight for freedom. And the main dude is going to broadcast this over the internet, where for $29.99 or whatever the price tag was, you can watch 10 people try to kill themselves as the lone survivor will get a ticket to freedom. We get dropped off on the island, and then as soon as we get dropped off, I get into a fight with the dude that played Paco. I can't remember the dude that played Paco's name. And I got my computer in front of me, but because my service is so slow, I'm not going to look up his name. He's gone on to be in a couple of high-profile projects, so he's done very well for himself. But nonetheless, he was in John Cena's movie as well, in The Marine. And John Cena and Paco got into a fight scene, and he hit John Cena. Can't remember where he hit him, but there was a mishap in the fight scene. And that's one of the things that I hate about fighting for camera, because it has to be so precise. And sometimes on these low-budget movies, now The Condemned certainly wasn't a low-budget movie. It's $20 million. You got plenty of time to rehearse a fight scene for a movie like that, and plenty of times to rehearse for a movie like The Expendables, in which I was in. But some of these lower-budget movies I'm going to get to, you sometimes might have 30 minutes to 2 hours to rehearse a fight scene, maybe a day at the most. So it can be what it is. Sometimes it turns into a piece of shit. So me and Paco had rehearsed the fight scenes a couple of times, and all of a sudden, action, we meet each other on the island. I toss him a key. He takes his handcuffs off. But before that, we get into that scuffle, and that motherfucker drills me, I think it was right in the left eye. Now, when he hit me in the left eye, he hit me probably with about 3/4 force of what he could probably throw. He's a pretty cut up dude, pretty good physique. Nice enough fella, too. And as soon as he hit me in the eye, I'm like, God damn it. You gotta be shitting me. This motherfucker didn't just now drill me in my eye. Now, my natural automatic instinct was just to knock a shit out of this motherfucker and put the boots to him. But being the movie professional that I was, I no-sold the blow, and we called a stop down, and my eye started swelling up. Well, I didn't want any down days on this film because we're filming this thing on a dime and we've got to roll production. Had this sumbitch hit any other major movie star, they'd have called 911, carted him off in an ambulance, and it would have stopped filming for about 3 weeks till the sumbitch's eye unswelled. So I just look up, tell Margaret, my makeup lady, who was absolutely wonderful. Hello, Margaret. I said, just go ahead and put some makeup on this thing. Let's roll cameras and get through the scene before my eye starts closing up. And that's what we did. So we got the thing right. Of course, Paco apologized a million times, and there was no heat there. But there was still heat there while we were filming. And there was a particular scene in the movie where, you know, his wife had been brutalized. It was a very tough scene, a controversial scene. And so he's running lost through the jungle, and I see him, and I call him over, and me and him can have that come to Jesus meeting, and he's crying because his wife had been killed, and understandably, he's visibly upset. But while we're going through this, and he's crying like a fucking baby, and I'm trying to get this sumbitch to shut up so we won't be caught by the guys that are looking for us, the other killers. But I'm actually still a little bit mad at him for hitting me in the fucking eye. So then there's a scene where we're walking to the bridge, and I guess I got my arm around him. I'm kind of helping him down the damn thing because I'm a humanitarian in this movie. I'm not really the bad guy that they had made me out to be in the false bio that they created for me. And, you know, I'm telling Scott Wiper, the director, I'm saying, listen, man, I said, I don't think my character would help this motherfucker this much. I mean, you know, I don't want to, you know, because I still had heat with the guy from hitting me in the eye. I didn't want to help this motherfucker limp down to that bridge where they ended up killing him. But because the show must go on, I maintained my composure, helped a brother out, and anyway, they ended up killing him on the bridge. Vinnie Jones and, God dang, what was that guy's name? Goddamn, I can't remember the little, I actually saw that guy. Masa Yamaguchi and Vinnie Jones' character killed him on that bridge, and I ended up seeing Masa at a sushi joint in Los Angeles a couple of months ago, so it was good to see him after all these years. He's alive and well and still making movies in Hollywood. And anyway, so then after those two movies, I ended up going to do a movie called Damage, where basically I just gotten out of jail for doing something, prison, and I owed a lot of people some money, and I guess my ex-wife at the time had a problem, and I needed to get into the fight game, the underground fight game, to help pay the bills and help get this girl a heart transplant. And so I was going to be doing a fight scene with my good friend Paul Lazenby, and he's on Twitter, MMA Mahler or Mahler MMA. I think it's MMA Mahler. Anyway, Paul Lazenby, and he's out of Vancouver, British Columbia. He's not only a stuntman, he's a former pro wrestler, former MMA fighter, and now he's getting into acting and still continuing his stunt work. And he's a tough dude. And when he shaves his face and grows a goatee and shaves his head, he looks pretty much like me. So obviously he's a very good-looking cat. So what we're doing is a quick montage of fights that will show the journey that John Brickner, whatever my character's name was, on his path to trying to get to the big match with the big dude at the end to win the big ducats to pay for the big heart operation. Me and Paul are going through a very simple 15 to 20 second clip that is going to be put into a montage of fight scenes, highlights almost. And it's literally a swinging door left, right, uppercut, left, right combination type thing. And all of a sudden the director yells, action. We start swinging. Bing, 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 miss, 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 miss. Boom! I throw a swinging door left hook, connect with Paul's nose, and move it about an inch over to the side of his face. Cameras are rolling on me. I'm mad as a motherfucker that I hit my buddy and stuntman, who you always try to take care of in a movie, not only hit him in his face with my left pinky driving across, but broke his nose. And so I looked at Paul and I said, "Oh, shit." And Paul just looked at me and never missed a beat. He says, "Keep going." So we finished the 20-second fight scene, and as soon as they yelled, "Cut," Paul's nose started bleeding like a fucking faucet. It was the goddamnest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Anyway, I felt like a real piece of shit because, first of all, he's a friend, but second of all, and also first of all, you never, ever want to hit somebody. A body blows are body blows. That goes with the territory. But when you're talking about the facial features, that's what you want to stay away from. Just like Paco hit me in the eye, there I had just broken Paul Lazenby's nose. Now, luckily, that was his only part in the movie, but I didn't need to break his nose for that to happen, so I felt like a piece of shit. So, I put an arm sling on and, put a bunch of toilet paper in my nose, was trying to make light of the situation. But, Paul, if you listen to the show, that was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago now, but I apologize for knocking the shit out of you. It was a rough day at the office, to say the least, and that's the way it goes sometimes, kid. All right, anyway, I'm going to continue the Steve Austin Show here in a minute, coming back with a few more stories from some of the clusterfucks I've been involved in. And then we're going to answer a few of your questions here today on the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming right back. Don't you dare fucking move, or I will track you down and find you. All right, folks, it's not too late to win some serious cash playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Thanks to DraftKings.com, you can win instant cash this very week. Yeah, that's right. DraftKings.com is awarding huge cash prizes every single week. And right now, you can get free entry into the Millionaire Maker event, where first place takes home $1 million. Go to DraftKings.com and enter the promo code Steve for your free shot at becoming the next millionaire. At DraftKings, you don't got to worry about injuries and suspensions. You don't even have to worry about bye weeks. And you don't have to wait until December to collect any winnings. That's why DraftKings is America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. And hey, do not forget, use the promo code Steve and get free entry into the Millionaire Maker event. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. So enter Steve now at DraftKings.com. I said that's Steve at DraftKings.com to get free entry into the Millionaire Maker event. Oh, hallelujah. If you've already tried DDP Yoga, then you know this is not your mama's yoga. This is a cardio workout that builds strength and flexibility like a mug, all while being easy on your joints. And if you haven't tried DDP Yoga, well, then you need to, because my close personal friend,